Kamusta naman kayo dyan, mga kameta? Mga kameta, gising pa ba kayo dyan? Ayan, buhay pa kayo dyan. Nasaan na kayo? Wait lang. Kunin ko yung ano ko ah. Kailangan na, marami tayong kailangan na yun. Kaya wala. Ayan na. Di, honest, ito mga kameta. To be honest, yung plano kanina sana was to have another Meta Nexus with yung kaibigan natin si Leloy Claudio, but of course currently is occupied. So, again, I'm super thankful for him for always making time. So wag kayong magalala, within a day or so right after Sabbath day gagawin namin yung next episodes namin. Maraming bagay na gusto namin pag-usapan ng kaibigan natin si Leloy Claudio. Of course, now is also working on a book. By the way, of course, I'm also working on a book, a manuscript that has was submitted actually back in 2022 pa. But there were some issues internally dun sa publications. Now hopefully things are gonna move in the right direction. So currently both I and Leloy are more or less working on the final drafts of our manuscript. So God willing, it will come out. Yung sa kanya more sa Philippine economic history, akin more ASEAN, China, US-China competition. No? So God willing, no, I think both of us will be also with University Press publications. So looking forward to, God willing, the near future discussing also our books. Again, obviously, medyo na-obvious na ano yung mga favorite color natin. Hindi naman masyadong favorite. Ano lang, tied for number one favorite. Of course, ang number one favorite natin mga kameta is of course yung Meta Color. Ube BTS. BTS Ube Color. Yun po yung favorite talaga natin. But I must be honest, etong turquoise, Tiffany, gano'n yan. Super favorite din natin yan, lalong-lalo na dahil doon sa nakita natin kagandahan ng karagatan ng Pilipinas dyan sa Coron Islands. Napakaganda talaga yung turquoise waters among others. So yun, that's it. So, eto mga mag-hello-hello po tayo. Ayan. Kanina pala si Sir Randall ba or Ranel? Sorry sir, mahina ako sa pangalan pero naalala kita. Salamat doon sa pag-arrange, no? Mga kaibigan natin dyan sa SM Mega Mall. Doon sa matumulong sa paggawa natin ng yung orchids natin dyan. Kasi hindi ko naman, medyo nilalangaw na isang mga natin dyan. So kailangan natin baguhin. So thank you so much sir and our friends, ang mga kametas there. Yan, may mga kameta tayo dyan sa SM Department Store. Thank you very much po dun sa tulong nyo. Maraming salamat din kay Ma'am Elita Pasio from Towns. Dun sa, ito yung sa furniture, dyan malapit sa Greenbelt. Pakicheck yan. So, may mga kailangan kami ng upholstery. I'm working, God willing mga kameta, on kinda, like gentleman on the Chesterton leather chair kind of setup. So, kailangan namin ng konting upholstery. So, we're working on that. So, thank you kay Ma'am Elita. We were able to find some sort of materials, basic materials that we'll use out fully. So in the future, mga kameta, pwede rin nakaupo lang ko, tapos naka-lighting, nakaupo sa chair, usap-usap, diba? Hindi naman parang psychoanalyst, pero parang ganun na rin. Medyo may portrait sa likod, painting sa likod, or mga gallery sa likod, tapos ganun. So, yun yung mga plano natin. Ganun. So, maraming salamat kay Ma'am Elita. Thank you so much for, may discount naman kasi yung kasama ko yung si Tita na interior design. But anyway, thank you so much. Maybe next time, di ba? So, salamat sa lahat ng mga fans and supporters natin all across Metro Manila and the country. Let me tell you how much it heartens us, mga kameta, when we meet yung mga supporters natin sa iba't ibang larangan ng ating lipunan from all walks of life, sa iba't ibang areas, different cities, pati dyan sa Palawan, may mga kita tayo. So, hindi naman feeling celebrity or anything like that. I have no illusions about it. Hindi naman tayo artista. Ibang usapan na kung artistahin. Ibang usapan na yan, no? But I know that these are people who support us not because of pa-cute, not because of, kasama yan once in a while. But I know that these people are supporting us, mga kameta, dahil sa kanilang mga paniniwala, no? doon sa mga ating atikain, doon sa mga ating analysis, doon sa ating gusto mangyari sa ating bayan. Kaya kahapon, pasensya na, medyo napahaba yung usapan. Hindi naman rant. That was really a kind of a discussion about the greatness of the Filipino spirit. And in relation to that, let's talk about Manny Pacquiao, Robin Padilla. Yan, yung mga ano natin dyan. Kasi syempre si Manny Pacquiao, one of the top contenders dun sa isang survey version. I think was that the aided version. Although the unaided version, of course, Erwin Tulfo came on top. So Manny Pacquiao is, I think, adjusting his sight back on, he wants to get back on the saddle, not only boxing saddle, but political saddle. And let's see what will happen in 2028. And as early as now, of course, may mga usap-usapin na siguro ang opposition should also reach out to Manny Pacquiao, considering what a great relationship he had with Lenny Robredo nung panahon ng elections. No? So, let's look at that. Now, nalaman din natin yung bago tayo pumunta dito sa Juan Luna, General Luna, mga yan, nalaman ko pala, ito yung dahilan na ganyan yung mustache ni Senator Padilla. First of all, let me say, in fairness naman kay Senator Padilla, I'm glad na nagka-calibrate na siya dun sa issue ng wala nang laman. Federalism. Protein drinks yan. Mag-gym pa tayo, habol pa tayo. Natutuwa tayo dyan sa at least may calibration na ginagawa ni Senator matatroll tayo dito. Yung calibration na ginagawa ni Senator Padilla dito sa issue ng federalism, I think he recognized that there's really not any kind of momentum behind it. I won't be surprised if he'll raise the issue again after SONA, before SONA, so on and so forth. But clearly the Maharlika Fund became the centerpiece of contestation, discussion, and advocacy of the Marcos administration. Tignan natin ano mangyari dun sa final version, mga kameta, final version ng Maharlika before tayo magkakaroon ng mga final comments. But base dun sa report na lumabas sa Philippine School of Economics, mukhang medyo beyond rescue na, whatever version comes out. But anyways, we'll get back to that later on. Kanina lang may mga nakita tayo dun sa Impact Leadership website na may pinost about si Senator Padilla na, I think in fairness naman to Senator Padilla, andun siya sa he's trying to help yung mga naapektuhan dyan sa Mount Mayon situation. So I think not only Lenny Robredo but some of our senators. I think kumanta pa si Senator, no, if I have to double check that. So in fairness naman, they're helping out. For me, even if I have some disagreements with some of the senators on certain issues, I do believe that yung ating kapatid na si Senator Robin Padilla, his heart is in the right place. I think he really wants to help people. And nalaman natin, baka may kinalaman itong mustache na. Kasi I was wondering what's going on there. So one news, mga kameta, is baka itong actor ng Bonifacio mag-play ng isa pang ilustrado, no? And isang tao na napakagaling mag-Tagalog. So mukhang si Marcelo del Pilar, no? Ang dahilan na nagagana ng mustache. Mahirap kaya gawin ng ganyan na mustache, no? Kailangan talaga, ako nga, hindi ko magawa. May beard pa nga ako and all, pero hindi ko magawa yung mustache ko na gano'n. Napakahirap kaya yan. Medyo kailangan ng makapal na bushy na mustache. Siguro shape ka ng shapes para makuha mo yun. So, mukhang, dun sa mga news na nakita natin online, mukhang may kinalaman ito doon sa, may bagong pelikula. Alam natin may bagong pelikula siya. Pero yung pala, si Marcelo del Pilar. Now, if this were true, no? If this were true, itong Marcelo del Pilar movie issue, it's interesting because Marcelo del Pilar is a very fascinating character. Of course, Gregorio del Pilar, mas kilala siguro ng iba dahil sa Goyo, Batang Goyo, whatever, yung sequel doon sa General Luna. But Marcelo del Pilar had a kind of a rivalry with Rizal, no? And he's just a Tagalog poet. So in a linguistic sense, he was much more nationalist, you could say, in a certain way. We can debate that, obviously. At the same time, his stance on Philippines' place in the Spanish Imperium was arguably more reformist than Rizal, who has been accused of not being revolutionary enough, no? And we know na isa sa mga dahilan na umuwi si Rizal sa Pilipinas base doon sa mga articles na katulad ni Benedict Anderson's trilogy on the life of Rizal and on the Filipino Revolution. One of the isa sa mga dahil, if not the reason na bumalik siya sa Pilipinas, even if may malaking risk na ma-execute siya or at the very least ma-exile siya and politically persecuted siya, is because of yung hidwaan nila ni Marcelo del Pilar. And one of the argument is that parang tinont talaga siya na kung sino talagang matapang ganun. So, it's a very intense, it's a very spirited, it's a very complex part of our history. But whatever we say about it, in fairness naman kay Marcel Lepler, he was also a force to reckon with. He was really a force to reckon with. So I'm excited to see more details kung talagang ito yung magiging susunod na movie. First of all, ang hirap nun ha. Tignan natin. I think Robin Padilla can play pretty well, no? Itong role na yan. Parang medyo bagay. Medyo may pagkaswabe. Tapos Tagalog na, medyo malakas ang dating. Feeling ko kayang-kaya na yan. Now, I hope medyo maayos yung director on script para mapakita yung complexities and rivalries among our ilustrados. So, why am I mentioning this, mga kameta? Why am I mentioning this? The reason I'm mentioning this is because I think a lot of us have some sort of a romanticized conception of the past. Na idea na at some point in the past, the Philippines was a first world country, golden era, mga ganun. Yung mga hindi masyadong nagbabasa, akalain nila yung pinaka-golden era kasi yung pinaka-luma nilang maisip is paano ni Marcos. And then yung iba, pinupush pa nilang back sa nila, wow, look at the Philippines in the late 19th century, blah, blah, blah. And accordingly, no, a lot of people also tend to romanticize itong mga ilustrados natin, no, to think that there were a group of monolithically unified team unity, na brilliant, na patriotic 100%, na martyr talaga, etc. But let's be honest, if you have really read their background story, including Rizal, if you look at the A Question of Heroes, a fantastic book by Nick Joaquin, for instance, among others, labas natin yan because I really want you guys to check that, no? Because for me, that was the best book ever I've read on Philippine history. I mean, like, next level. Right? So, itong book na A Question of Heroes, I really want you guys to read it, mga kameta, because it really put things into context. I mean, yung mga rivalries nila, yung mga kakulangan nila bilang tao. But at the same time, the more you realize how human they were, there's jealousy, there's rivalry, there's passion, there's anger, there's resentment. All of those factors are there. There's just like any one of us. And yet, kung titignan mo yung mga kameta, they were able to rise above the occasion. No? They were really able to rise above the occasion and really deliver something very special. Something very special. Now, obviously, speaking of complex characters, mga kameta, speaking of some with a problematic background or foreground, whatever you want to put it, Juan Luna is obviously probably pinaka-top there as far as pinaka-problematic illustrators are concerned. But that should not distract us, mga kameta. So first, do not romanticize. They were just also divided. They were also dealing with a lot of problems. What you don't want to romanticize them, you don't want to also cancel them. Because these people have to be understood in their own historical context, mga kameta. And also you have to accept and deal with the fact that they were human beings. But that's also my point, mga kameta. Yung the genius of the work, I mean, the poetry of Marcelo del Pilar, the novels of Jose Rizal, the paintings, the brilliant paintings of Juan Luna, like if you look at all of these things, that the level of dedication, the level of love and patriotism and hardship that went there, I really hope that the movie by Senator Robin Padilla will give justice, no? Or any movies that will be made about our heroes will give justice, mga kameta, to the greatness, but at the same time, the humanity and the complexity of character of our heroes. And katulad ng mga pinost natin kanina, mga kameta, tignan niyan, grabe. And I really suggest you guys, if you have time, to go there to Ayala Museum, check it out while the painting is there. This is a privately owned, so hindi siya sa Ayala Museum, pinahiram lang yan. So go there, enjoy it, be proud of being Filipino, etc. Which brings me really to the crux of my discussion today. Which is, mga kameta, don't love your country only when it's strong and it's at its best, no? In fact, malalaman mo kung mahal mo isang tao or mahal mo isang bagay kung kailangan nila ng, you know what I'm saying? They need a little bit of help, a little bit of an, SOS, diba? That's where you really see it. In the case of Juan Luna, there was not even a Filipino nation state yet, no, formally then, and yet they were still fighting for it, no. And we see the struggle for the next 100th century, Now, I have a good Spanish friend who told me that, this is all about nostalgia, nostalgic. We're all just being nostalgic about it. Yes, of course, there's an element of nostalgia, but if you appreciate things in their context and you learn the right lesson, we can replicate, or at least try to replicate, a glimpse of greatness of the past and bring it to our era. No, as I said, it's the audacity to be great, to be the best version of ourselves. And as I said, dun sa discussion natin kahapon, this is about paying homage, right? Honoring, giving a tribute to the sacrifice of our forefathers and founding mothers for that matter, because marami rin tayong mga tandang sora, mga others na tumulong sa ating bayan. Now, just to end our discussion for today, mga kameta, no? And for this week, and God willing, we can get back to you, etc. Let's next week. Pag nag-et cetera ako, because I usually don't say that, that means like, kailangan ko na. um, yeah, there you go. It's a pregnant pause. No, I mean, maraming problema yung ating bayan, mga kumeta. Marami tayong problema, of course. Of all people, I should know at least, as good as anyone, how bad the situation is, no? The rotten nature of our political institutions, the weakness of our state, to protect yung ating mga karagatan, to protect our people against abuses, the oligarchic nature of our economy, extreme economic, you see a lot of people having difficulties. At the same time, of course, there's this grittiness to the Filipino people. Hindi lang resilience. Kasi, for me, the word resilience has unfortunately being abused. Parang, ay, wag na tayo gumawa ng matinong infrastruktura dyan, wag natin, kasi resilient naman yung mga tao. No. Resilience has unfortunately become a byword for palpak yung government, umasa na lang tayo dun sa, you know what I'm saying, survival skills ng mga tao. That's not governance. That's failed governance. That's a failed state. No, grittiness, yung palaban, no, yung palaban, yung gusto ko. And at the same time, yung madiskarte. Like kanina, yung mga bata nagbibigay ng sampagita dun sa amin, malapit sa amin, wala akong pangbigay ng cash. Kasi alam mo naman ngayon, di ba, usually Gcash na lang, gano'n. Eh yung pala, ba't yung mga bata nagsasampagita, meron silang Gcash. Na-video ko pa yan. But of course, I don't wanna post those things kasi ayaw ko yung mga poverty porn, yung mga nonsense na ginagawa ng mga ibang vloggers, foreigners, gano'n. And I mean, you have to respect the dignity of these people. But I was just so touched by the fighting spirit, by the optimism, by the energy of these kids. So, yan, binigyan ko ng mamaya, hindi yata nila alam na Ilocano. Ay, sir, may kailangan kaming ganitong powder. Sir, baka kailangan namin ayusin itong ganun ng namin, roof namin, sir. Sabi ko, ganito mga bata, sabi ko, pag may mabait sa inyo, huwag niyo abusuhin, tatakas yan. Dapat unti-unti ko kayo may mabait dito, gano'n. Anyways, pinalibre natin, gano'n. Diba? Marami pala sila, biglang dumating mga ibang kapatid, gano'n. Ako, 7 daw sila, sabi ko naman sana naman, di ba? Dami-dami, ano. Anyway, ay nako, sabi ko, ng advice yung mga bata na yan na mag-aaral kayo, etc. Tapos sinabi ko, nagtuturo ako sa UP, tapos nagtanong sila, ano po yung UP, private school ba yun, public school, ganyan. Tapos alam pala nila yung Ika, alam nila yung Savior, alam nila yung Lasal, ang dami daw mabait sa Lasal, yung mga yung mga brothers doon, ang mabait daw nila, yung mga tao daw sa Lasal. So kudos sa inyo, sir. Yung mga kaibigan natin sa Lasal. So, we were having very good discussions with the kids and all, and it just reminded me that we Filipinos are very gritty. We Filipinos are very madiskarte. We're very sociable people. But we can also be the best in the world, right? When we put our mind into it, right? It's not just about survival and resilience. It's really about being the best version of ourselves. And let me tell you one thing, mga kameta. Ako, hindi ako lumaki sa Manila, no? Although I spend most of my life in Manila, and then I'm a Manila boy in some ways, but I saw the evolution of Manila because I'm also an outsider. I came from Baguio, I have a very, mixed, diverse background, etc. In terms of family, ancestors. But in fairness, naman, we're moving in the right direction. In spite of our government, in spite of our trapos, the Filipino people are so hardworking, so dedicated to what they're doing. We have such a good number of entrepreneurs. I'm not talking about oligarchs and conglomerates. I'm talking about startup companies. I'm talking about young people getting the ball rolling right and left, bringing the best technology around the world. I'm talking about our OFWs, some of them returning, some of them investing back in the Philippines, some of them coming back and forth, helping the economy directly, indirectly, in so many ways. I'm talking about the middle class professionals in the Philippines who do their best against difficult conditions, even if ang taas ng mga buwis, ang daming mga difficulties in setting up a business. All of those things, being underpaid, underappreciated, this is the sense I have. I mean, so when like my friend si Jet Tolentino was talking about, like, parang feeling niya hindi siya appreciated or yung mga proposal niya hindi na, parang gusto kong sabihin like, um, dear friend, that's how almost everyone feels in the Philippines as far as especially the professionals, the artists, etc. So, buti nga yung mga Filipino na galing abroad, they got a semblance of appreciation and all abroad. Yung mga nandito, hirap na hirap talaga marami dyan. But, kumakayod pa rin. But, they still do their best. And for me, I think the way of the future is in and out, in and out. Like katulad ng ginagawa natin, go outside, spread the message, come back into the Philippines, introduce the best practices and ideas, energize yourself, bring the energy internationally, bring the energy back. So one of the things we have noticing, mga kameta, is the Philippines is moving forward in spite of its failed politics. So imagine if we get our politics right. Imagine if we get our politics right, how far this country can go, right? Because, katulad ng sinasabi ko, this is not about daydreaming. This is not about just hope. Kasi may back and forth naman. Hindi naman back and forth. May mga comments din ako dun sa mga kaibigan natin na may mga kaibigan tayo sa Twitter na comment about Maharlika Funds. Pero sabi ko, kailangan natin ng pagbabago pero base sa matinong polisiya, hindi yung bara-bara tatay style. Kailangan natin ng pagbabago base doon sa mga best practices and best policies ng mga kapitbahay natin, countries at the cutting edge of technology and science and governance. But for me, fundamentally, it's about believing. Kaya ako, super hate ko yung mga self-deprecating, yung mga, uy, only in the Philippines. I mean, first of all, yung mga nagsabi na only in the Philippines, most likely hindi sila nag-travel. Kasi ayoko magpangalan ng mga bansa. But I've been to many countries na their traffic is way worse than the Philippines 2-3 times, right? Yung mga only in the Philippines, gano'n, naku po, akala niyo tayo lang may mga kurakot na politicians, punta kayo sa XYZ, di ba? You have no idea, right? You think sa atin lang may censorship or sa atin lang may mga harassment trolls, like, you have no idea. I've been in different places way worse. Whether it's like North Korea, China situation, or, I've been in countries like Turkey, for instance, where a lot of our I gave a talk at Koch University a few years ago, and some of the professors there were telling me that there were targets of also trolls, horrible trolling. We have friends in Turkey who had to leave the country entirely, no, because they were being accused of being part of destabilization plots, etc. Ala tatay style, yung mga ganon, di ba? So what I'm saying, mga kameta, is that we're growing, we're moving forward in spite of our government. But if we retain sufficient faith and hope in our capabilities, we might also shame our trapos and politicians to be better. And for newbies and non-traditional politicians like Robin Padilla, like Rafi Tulfo, etc., whatever your opinion is about them, remember they're not traditional politicians, or at least not yet. So they're open to ideas, or they should be open to ideas, and we should push them not to be like the trapos, to be better versions, to use their platforms for the best for the country. And for leaders out there, inspirational leaders, whether it's Lenny Robredo, for instance, or people who are inside the government like Riza Ontiveros and Progressive, support them in whichever way you can, right? Demand for greater service, but at the same time, understand they're human beings. And at the same time, right, think of what you can also do to contribute to movements that these people ushered in, right? Yun nga yung parati kong sinasabi. Yun nga yung parati kong sinasabi, mga kameta. You need to have a sufficient degree of faith in your country, or in any project for that matter, for you to give enough for it to have a chance. But if you're just gonna engage in self-deprecating only in the Philippines, yung mga ganyan, mga ignoramos na comments, because you have no idea. You know, it gets way worse in many countries. I'm not saying that makes our situation good. I'm just saying we can still do better, and we can even still go lower if we don't get things together, right? So, medyo kayot, diba? Medyo kayot. So that's where our energy, our commitment is coming from. Because I know the Filipino can be the best in the world, no question about it. Not just world class, but the best. And we were able to achieve the best status during the colonial period, after the colonial status. Nick Joaquin, for instance, a lot of his great works uh, was written during the martial years. Franklin Sionel Jose, the late Sionel Jose. I know some of you may have issues with the last things that he was writing in the context of that, but he had brilliant novels that were written through very difficult times in the Philippine history. So what I'm saying mga kameta here is give the Philippines a chance because in fairness sa ating bayan, it's moving forward in spite of our governance. But more than giving our country a chance, we need to give it a boost. And giving the boost means remain informed, remain politically engaged. Makinig kayo sa mga vloggers na matino. Kaysa mag-partisanship, huwag lang kayo maghanap ng mga vloggers na i-reinforce lang yung mga biases nyo. Maghanap kayo ng mga tao, mga kolumnista, magbasa kayo. Yan ang isa sa pinaka-frustration namin. Konting tao nagbabasa sa bayan natin kumpara sa ibang bansa. Like probably have more readers, hindi yung mga watch ng vlog, readers sa, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying mga kamay. I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm making vlogs here. I'm making podcasts. We have our TV show, whatever. But at the end of the day, mga kameta, the best way to understand a complex situation is to read. So please go and read. Huwag lang kayo dyan lang sa Facebook, magka-comment, magbasa kayo. Form informed opinions based on proper studies. And there's so many beautiful stuff written out there. A lot of us academics, we're writing for the popular audience also para mas madali maintindihan yan. Alright? And lastly mga kameta, let me just tell you how thankful I am dun sa inyong suporta, dun sa inyong paniniwala sa atin. Kayo po ang nagbibigay ng lakas sa amin when may mga times na literally you're too tired to do a vlog, tinatamad ka, or you're so politically frustrated, na-troll ka, ang daming toxicity, parang sasabihin mo ano naman ng silbi nito. Marami tayong mga, we have many loyal followers who gave us, also the chance and boost, when we needed it. May mga times na we get million views, may mga times na ilan libo lang views natin, may mga times tayo na 6,000, 7,000 live na nanonood, may times mga 50 or 30 or 40, ngayon siguro 70, ilan ba? It's okay. As long as you guys are there, it gives us the courage to do the right thing. And my sense is as long as you give me the courage to do the right thing, God willing, inshallah, it's also giving inspiration to other good friends. I mean, I'm glad that Leloy, I'm glad that many of our good friends we're doing to spread the message, to spread the love, and spread the information. Alright, nakailang alarm clock na ako na kailangan ko na umalis. Alright, ihabol pa natin itong gym. Because we have to keep strong as much as possible, God willing. Yeah, please guys, take care of yourself. My prayers and love for you. And please continue to pray for us. And advance Happy Father's Day dun sa ating mga ama. Ayoko na gamitin yung term na tatay. Dun sa mga ating ama, di ba? Dun sa mga young daddies, dun sa mga cousins natin na daddy na, huwag kayong mag-alala. I'll work on that project too, but in the meantime, alright, let me just do what I have to do. Para sa bayan, alright? Happy Father's Day, God bless, and maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Very kind of you po. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat, kay Lorna Navarro, kay Victoria, thank you very much ma'am, kay Sunny Win dito sa Jocelyn Lumberry, thank you so much as always. Dito mga supporters natin, kay Noemi Tablate, Eden Olonan, grazie, well, Norgeline Dalmasio, yan. Talagang kahit anong oras, andun yung mga, nagmamahal sa atin ng mga fans. I'll tell you this mga kameta, the feeling of having loyal not fans, supporters. I mean, I meant it in a, facetiously, is kasing good vibes na mga ganitong color. I mean, literally, sometimes you have to find the right vibes, good vibes. And these colors really give me a lot of good feelings and vibes. And I feel the same way when you guys show your support and your goodwill. And in my own ways, I hope I'm giving you some sort of inspiration and I'm giving you some sort of good vibes and energy. Although sometimes medyo drama, minsan medyo galit. Para naman makita nyo naman na seryoso tayo, di ba? Hindi ito yung ano lang, paligoy-ligoy lang. Katulad nga sinabi ni Senator Padilla, di ba? Sa Senado, dapat seryoso na ngayon, di ba? Yung mga ganun. Alright! Maraming salamat, guys! God bless and thank you very much. Salamat po.